Watching News at Prime. Well, we continue with our coverage on the more than 2-decade-long settlement case between Vodacom and Please Call Me Inventor Nkosana Makate. The outgoing acting Deputy Chief Justice Mbuyiseli Madlanga has sent the case back to the Supreme Court of Appeal, accusing that court of failing to deal with the matters adequately. Technicalities here, or let's perhaps find out what is at play here, and importantly, what does this mean for the case going forward? To talk to us more about this is Gugu Lourie, who joins us now, someone who's written on this case for a very, very long time. You were there today. Good evening to you.
Good evening, Claudia.
And your thoughts on where to for this case now. I've been reading the articles in the lead up to the actual judgment itself, and they're describing Nkosana Makate as having been upbeat before the actual decision today. So I can imagine at the end of that judgment how disappointed he was.
I think, Claudia, it was expected for him to be upbeat because the matter was in front of the Apex Court. Maybe he was hoping that the Apex Court would put a final nail on the issue, but that didn't happen. Maybe where we are heading to now, Claudia, is that the case we're expecting on my part, that either way, it was going to go back to the Supreme Court of Appeal because Vodacom was questioning whether there's jurisdiction for them to be in the Constitutional Court or not. For the justice system today to say the Constitutional Court, let's take the matter back to the Supreme Court of Appeal, it's a good thing because the Supreme Court of Appeal, it's got the mandate to deal with the issues of contracts, whereas the Constitutional Court doesn't have the expertise and the mandate to deal with the issues of contract.
So that's where the failure was?
That's where the failure was, yes. Because when we look at it, is that even the acting Chief Justice today, Madlanga, said it that if we listen to Vodacom's, for them to say that we must have an ear for their case in the Constitutional Court, we'll be moving into the slippery road. That's why they've decided to say that the case belongs to the Supreme Court of Appeal for people who can decide the matter accordingly with the new panel.
Is that a good thing? Because that's where I was coming to say, very, very instructive that a new panel must look at this case anew and make the right call. Is that at least satisfying for Nkosana Makate and his legal team that a fresh set of eyes is going to look at this?
I cannot speak for them, but on my part as a journalist to analyze, I would say it's a good thing, but with caution, because I haven't read the full judgment, is not yet out. Here's a big question. When the acting Chief Justice today read the judgment, didn't give us the timeline. For how long is this matter supposed to be the SCA? When is it going to be enrolled? We don't know. So therefore, it can open a door for this case to drag on for a long time. That's my biggest worry. But I'm happy that the matter is going back to the SCA. No one is won today because the matter belongs to the SCA.
Yeah. Because
even the Chief Justice today, the acting Chief Justice said it, that they don't want to venture into the issue of quantum. Yeah. The issue of quantum was supposed to have been ventilated by the SCA, and they're handing it back to them to decide how much Makate must be paid. It's the same matter I said to you, that the issue at hand is that how much Makate must be paid. Nothing has changed today because all the judgment that happened in the lower court, except the SCA, they still stand.
Let's discuss that quantum for a moment, because perhaps it is the perfect place to end the conversation. How much is Mr. Makate entitled to, and how do we arrive at that? Because there is a figure of roughly 9 billion rand that is bandied about.
That is beautifully in this. When the matter was being heard in November last year by the Constitutional Court, the departing acting Chief Justice, Madlanga, requested Vodacom and Makate lawyers to draft orders that are nearly similar. Both Makate's lawyers and Vodacom, they agree to say that Makate must be paid 5% of revenue for 18 years with interest. Already, there's a base of where the new panel of the SCA need to work on. The question is that what formula are they going to use? Are they going to use the formula that was proposed by Makate lawyers? Are they going to use the CEO's formula? is the issue that must be debated by the new panel of judges.
And Vodacom, do we see them challenging whatever formula is arrived at by the courts? Because my sense is that they're going to have a huge problem paying out this 9 billion rand if indeed that model arrives at this amount.
We can debate the issue of the amount of 9 billion. They can be able to pay it, but let's not venture there. But here's the biggest crux that might happen with the case being sent back to the SCA.
Yeah.
It might bring a test to constitutionalism in South Africa, because if Vodacom is not happy with the new panel of judges, if they say that we believe that Nkosana Makate, the quantum that we must make runs into, let's say, 9.4 billion or 10 billion or 5 billion, Vodacom then decides to challenge it and goes back to the Constitutional Court and say that we want to appeal again. It creates a double whammy. Then our judiciary will be on trial. Because I believe that today there was a scope of hope to say that maybe the Constitutional Court, as they've been arguing, about 5 of the justices have been saying that this matter has been dragging for too long. Yeah. We need to put finality on it. As the judges of the Constitutional Court, they should have decided to say that we are taking the matter to the SCA for a period of a year. Then it must be enrolled within 3 months so that this matter must be brought to finality. But now there's an open window. This matter might not be closed, and it creates problems for the rest of us.
Sure. What an interesting take on this. Thank you very much, Gugu Lourie. He's a columnist, and as you've heard him say, he's also a journalist writing on this for a very, very long time.